Right, so we're prepping for an ecologist interview today, which is pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, it's a field where you can really, make a difference.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So we're diving into some RoleCatcher resources,
Yeah.
career guides, interview guides, even some insights into how AI is changing the hiring game.
Really interesting stuff.
Our mission
Yeah.
to help you nail those ecologist interview questions.
Really help people understand what those interviewers are looking for.
Yeah, what are they looking for?
We're going to dig into some common questions, help you strategize your answers,
Love that.
and sprinkle in some expert tips from the career guides
Ooh, I like it.
to help you stand out.
All right, let's unpack this first question.
Okay.
What inspired you to pursue a career in ecology?
It's a good one.
It seems simple,
Mm-hmm.
but it's your chance to really showcase your passion.
Yeah, don't just say, I like nature.
Right,
Think about a specific experience that really sparked your interest.
right.
Was it a childhood memory, a book, you read a research project?
Like maybe you spent your summers exploring tide pools.
Yeah,
Got fascinated by marine life.
exactly. And connect that experience
Okay,
to your skills and goals.
I see.
So, that fascination with the interconnectedness of life in tide pools made me want to understand ecosystems on a larger scale
Yeah.
and ultimately contribute to conservation efforts.
So you're connecting your passion with what you actually want to do.
Exactly.
Awesome. And don't forget, the career guide really emphasizes hands-on experience.
Yes.
Even if it wasn't specifically ecology related, anything that shows initiative and a love for learning is gold.
Absolutely.
All right, so get ready for this next one. It's a classic.
Okay.
Can you describe your experience with ecological fieldwork?
Oh, yeah.
Here's where you get to dive into specifics.
Love it.
Pick a project that showcases your research skills, from design to data collection to analysis.
Yeah, the interviewer wants to see that you can handle the,
Yeah.
the nitty-gritty of field research.
Okay.
So briefly explain the project's goal, your role, the challenges you faced, and of course the outcomes.
And don't forget those quantifiable results.
Oh, it's huge.
Saying, our research led to a 15% increase in native plant species
Yeah, much better.
is much more impactful than our research helped the habitat.
Exactly. It makes your impact tangible.
Right.
Now, interviewers also want to see that you're not just relying on what you learned in school.
Okay.
So be prepared to answer, how do you stay current with developments in the field of ecology?
This is where you show them you're a lifelong learner.
Yes.
Mention specific journals you read, like ecology or conservation biology conferences you've attended, or professional organizations you're a part of.
You got it. And bonus points.
Ooh, bonus points.
If you can mention a recent research paper that fascinated you
Okay.
and explain why it shows you're actively engaged
I like it.
with the latest discoveries.
All right, so here's where it gets really interesting: data analysis.
Yeah.
They might ask, how do you approach data analysis in your ecological research?
This is a core skill. It is definitely explain your methodology, your comfort level with statistical software like R or SPSS,
Got it.
and your ability to interpret data and draw meaningful conclusions.
So, for example, you could say I used a linear regression model to analyze the relationship between plant diversity and soil nutrient levels and found a significant positive correlation.
That's perfect.
Nice.
Now imagine this RoleCatcher's AI
I love this part.
can actually analyze the specific job description and highlight the skills they're seeking.
Oh, wow.
It's like having a personalized prep guide
That's incredible.
tailored to each application.
Talk about a competitive edge. Okay, let's move on.
Okay.
Can you describe a project where you successfully collaborated with other professionals outside of ecology, such as engineers or planners?
This question is all about teamwork.
Yeah.
Ecologists often work in interdisciplinary teams, so highlight your communication and collaboration skills.
Pick a project where you had to bridge communication gaps and work together to achieve a positive outcome.
For example, maybe you worked on a project to design a wildlife corridor under a highway.
Yeah.
You can explain how you communicated the ecological considerations to the engineers to ensure the project's success.
That's a perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now for a question that digs a little deeper.
Okay.
Can you describe a time when you had to make a difficult ethical decision in your ecological work?
This one is about your integrity and judgment. Choose a situation that shows your commitment to ethical research practices, even when it's tough.
Briefly describe the dilemma, what factors you considered the decision you made, and your rationale behind it.
It's okay to admit it was a difficult decision. In fact, it shows self-awareness
Yeah.
and thoughtful consideration.
For instance, maybe you had to decide whether to relocate an endangered species due to a development project.
Right.
You could explain the ethical considerations you weighed, the impact on the species versus the project's benefits,
Yeah.
and how you arrived at your decision.
That's great.
Okay, and now let's talk about some technical skills. Can you describe your experience with GIS and remote sensing in ecological research? These are highly valuable these days.
They are, absolutely.
Absolutely highlight your experience using GIS software like ArcGIS or QGIS, and your ability to analyze spatial data to answer those ecological questions.
And if you've created any maps or visualizations, definitely mention them.
Oh, yeah.
It adds another dimension to your expertise.
I like that. So you could say something like, I use GIS to map the distribution of invasive plant species in a national park, which help prioritize areas for management.
That's a great example.
Awesome.
That clearly demonstrates how your GIS skills translate into real-world impact.
Excellent. All right, ready for another one?
Hit me.
How do you approach stakeholder engagement in ecological conservation projects?
Oh, that's a good one.
This is all about communication and understanding different perspectives.
It is.
Ecologists often work with diverse groups, local communities, government agencies, other scientists.
Lots of stakeholders.
So explain how you approach building trust, listening to concerns, and communicating complex scientific information in a way that resonates with your audience.
Right. So, for instance, you could talk about facilitating a community meeting to discuss a proposed conservation project.
Yeah.
You listen to their concerns, address them in a respectful and informative way, and ultimately gain their support.
That's a great example of successful stakeholder engagement. Now, for our last question in this section, let's talk about modeling.
Oh, okay.
I might ask, can you describe your experience with ecological modeling?
All right.
This is where you show your ability to use those quantitative tools to predict ecological outcomes and inform decision-making.
Briefly describe a model you've worked with, like population models or species distribution models. Mention the software you used, and explain how the model's results informed those crucial decisions.
So, for example, you could talk about using a population viability analysis model to assess the extinction risk of a threatened species. Explain how those results helped guide conservation strategies and management decisions.
Perfect.
Right.
That connects your modeling skills directly to real-world conservation efforts.
Okay, that was a lot. We covered a ton of ground.
I know, right?
But there's more to come.
Much more.
Stay tuned for the next part of our deep dive, where we'll tackle even more challenging interview questions.
Welcome back.
All right, we're back.
So we've covered some common ecologist interview questions, but now let's dig a little deeper into those potential follow-up questions. Because remember, they're not just looking for textbook answers.
Right.
Interviewers want to see how you think on your feet and apply your knowledge to new situations.
Makes sense.
So let's say you've just described your experience with ecological fieldwork.
Okay.
Don't be surprised if they follow up with something like, what were some of the limitations of your study?
Okay.
And how might you address them in future research?
That's a good one.
It's all about showing you understand the nuances of research and are already thinking about how to improve it.
I see.
And this applies to almost any question, data analysis. They might ask, what challenges did you face with this particular data set? Or stakeholder engagement. They might probe, how did you address conflicting viewpoints among stakeholders?
So it's really testing you on how you handle those real-world complexities.
Exactly. And it's okay to admit challenges.
Right.
It shows self-awareness and a commitment to learning.
Right. So speaking of preparation, let's circle back to RoleCatcher's AI.
Yes.
I'm still amazed by how it personalizes your approach to each job.
It's pretty cool.
I know, right? It's like having a secret weapon.
Yeah, so how does it actually work?
Yeah, how does it work?
Well, it analyzes the job description that you upload, identifying those key skills and qualifications. The employer is seeking, it's way more targeted than, generic interview guides.
So instead of just relying on general advice, I can get insights specifically tailored to the job I'm applying for.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
And it goes even further.
Okay, even further.
RoleCatcher can analyze your resume and cover letter.
Wow.
Suggesting improvements based on the target job description.
That's amazing.
It's like having a personal career coach in your pocket.
Seriously.
Right. And get this, RoleCatcher's AI can even help you practice your answers.
Whoa, hold on.
Yeah, you can record yourself answering common questions.
Okay.
And it analyzes your delivery, providing feedback on clarity, conciseness, even your body language.
That's next level.
It is.
Okay, so let's get back to those interview questions.
Okay.
We've talked about follow-ups, but what about those tricky behavioral questions?
Yeah.
The ones that ask you to describe a time when
Those can be challenging.
they can be tough.
They're all about your past experiences
Okay.
and how you've handled specific situations.
Huh?
It's not just about what you know. It's about how you've actually applied your skills. So while there's no one-size-fits-all answer,
Right.
the key is to have a few compelling stories ready to go.
Okay, have some stories.
Think about situations where you've demonstrated leadership, teamwork, problem solving,
Okay.
or even resilience in the face of challenges.
So it's all about connecting those experiences
Exactly.
to the specific competency
Right.
the employer's looking for.
Let's say they ask,
Okay.
tell me about a time when you had to work under pressure to meet a tight deadline.
That's a good one.
Uh-huh.
How would you approach that?
I would think about a specific project where I faced a real-time crunch.
Okay.
It could be a research project with a strict deadline, a fieldwork expedition with limited time on site,
Right.
or even a conservation campaign with urgent action required.
Yeah, and when describing the situation,
Yes.
focus on the actions you took, the challenges you overcame, and the positive outcome you achieved.
Exactly. Don't just tell the story. Highlight your role in it.
For example, I might say during my master's research, I had to analyze a massive data set and write my thesis within a very tight time frame to manage it all. I created a detailed timeline, prioritized tasks, and worked closely with my supervisor despite the pressure I'd have. I completed my thesis on time and received positive feedback.
That's great. It shows you can handle pressure,
Yeah.
prioritize tasks, and meet deadlines.
Okay, what about a question like, tell me about a time when you had to resolve a conflict within a team?
Oh, those can be tricky.
Those are tough.
Because they involve interpersonal dynamics.
Yeah.
Approach them with sensitivity and a focus on positive outcomes.
I see.
Show that you can handle conflict constructively, facilitate communication, and find solutions that benefit everyone.
So I should emphasize my role in resolving the conflict.
Exactly.
And the positive impact it had on the team.
You could say during a group project in my undergraduate studies, we disagreed on the best approach to resolve it. I facilitated an open discussion where everyone shared their perspectives. We brainstormed solutions together and ultimately agreed on a compromise that combined the best of each approach. This experience taught me the importance of active listening, clear communication, and finding common ground.
That's a perfect example.
It is.
Of how to turn a potentially negative situation into a positive learning experience.
Right.
What about those questions about adaptability? Like, tell me about a time when you had to adapt to a challenging or unexpected situation.
Those are all about showcasing your resilience, your problem-solving skills, and your ability to think on your feet.
Yeah.
Think of a time where you faced an unforeseen obstacle and had to adjust your plans quickly and effectively.
It could be a fieldwork expedition disrupted by weather, a research project with unexpected results, or even a community engagement initiative that faced resistance. The key is to highlight your ability to stay calm, assess the situation, and find creative solutions.
For example, you could say during a fieldwork expedition to study bird migration, a sudden storm forced us to abandon our research site. Yeah, it happens to salvage the expedition. I quickly researched alternative locations, secured permission to conduct observations at a nearby nature reserve. I learned the importance of flexibility, resourcefulness, and always having a backup plan.
That's a fantastic example. It shows you can handle unexpected challenges.
Right.
Think creatively and find solutions to keep things moving forward.
And remember, preparing for these behavioral questions takes time and reflection.
Yeah.
Don't wait until the last minute.
Right.
Think about your past experiences. Identify situations that highlight your key skills and qualities. And practice articulating those experiences concisely and compellingly.
Practice makes perfect.
It does.
The more you practice telling your stories, the more confident and articulate you'll become during the interview.
Absolutely.
And of course, RoleCatcher's AI can provide feedback to help you refine your delivery. Speaking of which, in the next part of our deep dive, we'll explore how to make a lasting impression and truly shine in your Ecologist interview. We'll talk about the importance of asking thoughtful questions at the end of the interview. And other strategies for success. Stay tuned. Okay, we're back for the final part of our Ecologist interview deep dive.
We've covered a lot of ground, from common interview questions to those tricky behavioral ones.
Yeah.
And how RoleCatcher's AI can really help you prepare.
It's a game changer for sure.
It is.
And of course, we've explored those potential follow-up questions that interviewers love to throw your way.
Right. Always be ready for those.
But now let's focus on those finishing touches.
Okay.
Those strategies that can really make a difference.
The little things.
Yeah, because it's not just about answering their questions.
Right.
It's about leaving a lasting impression.
Yes.
And showing them you're the right fit.
Absolutely. And one thing that often gets overlooked is the importance of asking thoughtful questions at the end of the interview.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
It's your chance to gather information and show them you've done your research and are genuinely interested.
So it shows you're engaged and thinking critically about the role.
Exactly. So what kind of questions should you ask?
Well, you could ask about the specific projects or research initiatives the team is currently working on.
Ooh, I like that.
It shows you're eager to jump in and contribute.
Yeah, and it gives you a glimpse into the day-to-day work. You could also inquire about the organization's commitment to professional development and opportunities for growth.
That's smart.
It demonstrates your ambition and desire to learn and grow within the role. What about team dynamics?
Team dynamics, for sure, ask about the team's culture and collaboration style.
Yes.
It shows that you're interested in the people you'll be working with and the overall work environment.
It's all about finding that right fit.
Yeah, for both you and the organization.
Exactly. And remember, tailor your questions to the specific organization, and what you've learned during the interview, the more relevant your questions, the more impressed they'll be.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So beyond asking great questions, what else can we do to make a positive and memorable impression?
Enthusiasm and passion are key.
Okay.
Let your genuine interest in ecology shine through a genuine smile, and a positive attitude can go a long way.
It's about showing them you're not just looking for any job. You're passionate about making a difference in this field.
Yes, professionalism is also crucial.
Right.
Maintain professional attire and demeanor throughout the interview. First impressions matter.
Absolutely.
And it shows respect for the opportunity, and those nonverbal cues are important too.
Like what?
A strong handshake, good eye contact, these things convey confidence and help you connect with the interviewers.
It's about showing them you're not just qualified, but you're also someone they'd enjoy working with.
Exactly. And finally, be prepared to discuss your salary expectations and availability. It's best to research salary ranges beforehand and have an open and honest conversation.
So it shows you're realistic and prepared for that next step.
Right now, before we wrap up, I want to emphasize again how valuable RoleCatcher's AI tools can be for interview preparation.
They really can give you that extra edge.
They can remember, it can analyze job descriptions, identify key skills, and even provide feedback on your interview responses.
It's like having a personalized coach guiding you every step of the way.
It is. So as you head into that interview, remember this. You're not just trying to get a job. You're stepping into a field where you can directly impact conservation efforts, policy decisions, and even the future of our planet.
That's amazing.
Preparation is key. Use these insights from RoleCatcher. Tailor your answers, and practice, practice, practice.
Practice makes perfect.
It does. And here's a final thought for you. What emerging technologies in ecology are you most excited about?
Ooh.
And how do you see them shaping the field in the next 5 years? Keep that curiosity alive, and you'll go far.
That's a great question to ponder as you embark on your ecologist journey. Good luck with your interviews, and remember, your passion for ecology can make a real difference in the world.